Hi, Chris here, and today I'm going to be doing a pick and gut on this rather wonderful Abloy Disklock door cylinder. Feeling very lucky to be able to get a go at this. Actually, they're not that easy to get hold of here in the UK. This one's been very kindly lent to me by Nathan Griffiths, and it is an absolutely beautiful example. Looks like it's fresh out of the factory. But Nathan's a fantastic picker. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. If you haven't already seen his stuff, then do go check it out. It's really good. Going to be using this homemade pick with the RWB custom pick handles. This is right at the limit of what these handles will cope with, actually, in terms of basically the length of the disc stack. Because I'll show you, if I just pop the key in, you can see it's quite a deep stack. You've got all of that to deal with, and this pick I've made, it'll only just get to the back of the lock, almost bottoms out on the lock, and if I fully retract it as far as it'll go in the handles, you can see it'll only just clear the front of the lock as well, so right on the limit. And that's just a piece of a broken pick, silver soldered onto some 2mm tube, which I've then again silver soldered into some nesting tubes in there to make it interface nicely with the handles. That outer tube's a 6mm tube, which goes well into the front of here. Tensioner is a 1.5mm shaft ejector pin, 6mm diameter head, which is perfect for this. I haven't had to reduce that at all. Then I've just ground and filed that down so as it just fits perfectly into the keyway. Hopefully you can see that just slips in nicely there. That goes all the way to the back. There's a few little tips and tricks that I've picked up from watching other people's videos on this and experimenting with the lock myself. First thing to know is that at the start of the process, you do have to turn the tensioner and disc 4 together to actually load the lock up. You've got to rotate them both 90 degrees, keep the return bars aligned, I think. But even once you've done that, you then need to just give them a little extra push, and there's a bit of a sort of pop feel to do that. And I think what's happening there is there's a sort of detent runs in the sidebar groove to centre the lock in the lock position, and until you overcome the load from that detent, you're not actually loading up the sidebar. So you do need to be mindful of that. I've also found that doing a few passes through the lock, each time I go through, I do that again, so like push on disc 4 as I go through it, because I think as you position the gates, the feedback's really poor, but as you position the gates, what you'd expect is that the feedback would improve. I found it doesn't really do that unless you push on disc 4 on the way through. I think because as you line everything up, you're just offloading. You're offloading the sidebar, but without actually forcing it further down into the disc stack. So do keep doing that. And also I found that to get it open, you need to actually push disc 4 as well. So you sort of go through, position all the discs, and then when it comes to the open, go back to disc 4 and turn tensioner and disc 4 together. You saw your Bend-Aid do that in his video. I don't know if he realised why it was doing that. Maybe he thought just disc 4 was misaligned, but I found every time I open this, I do need to load up disc 4 and the back simultaneously. The other sort of interesting observation is there are some of the discs which I think you know where to position. So I've got a few similar locks from this family. So here's the key for this disc lock. These are keys for 2 novel door locks, and this is a Disklock Pro door lock, and they've all obviously got your tension discs at the back, but then there's a max cut, so a 0 rotation disc, and then the next disc on all 4 of these keys is a max rotation. So it seems common. I don't think it has to be like that. I've got a Disklock Pro padlock which isn't like that, but all 4 examples of the door locks I have from this family are like that. So if you're picking one of these as a door lock, that's a good starter. So you're tensioning on disc 11, leave disc 10 alone, turn disc 9 as far as it'll go, and then at least you've got a little bit of a run at the back of the lock of discs that you know where they are without needing to do the difficult feedback. Okay, I think that's it by way of an intro. So let's get to the pick and gut. Okay, so here we've got the lock working completely normally. See the actuator on the back there. So pop it in the vise. I should show you the key. There is the key. Tensioner all the way to the back, and then we're going to go and pick up on disc 4 with the pick tip. There we go, disc 4, turn them both together, and then give it that little edge on, make sure it's properly tensioned. Okay, disc 10 we know we're leaving where it is, and disc 9 we turn all the way. You have to start looking for feedback on the other discs. Feels quite convincing now. Let's give that a try. Not yet. So what's not set in here then? So 5's good. 6 is good. 7. Maybe not. That's better. 8. Right. 9 fully set. 10. Yep, happy where it is. Try on the way back through. Nope. That's something at the front then. Two don't feel right. One feels okay. 2. Still doesn't feel right. That feels better. 3. Hard to read. Let's try that. There we go. Lock is open. You can see the front moving there. Right. Let's get back on disc 4. Everything up. Okay. There we go, key working completely normally. Getting this clip off the back is quite tricky, I found. So it might just take a minute or two. Okay, this wants to throw small parts everywhere when you take the core out. Could have gone a lot worse. Okay, so there's the front plate. And we've got these two tiny little bearings. Here's the plunger that also locates the sidebar. There is the sidebar. And a little rod in there. Also down the bottom of this hole there's a tiny little spring. Just fish that out. Sure I don't lose it. There we go. Okay, so let's take all of this like that. A special front plate. And then we're into sort of usual discs and spacers. And then we've got two return bars there. Okay, so there's the carrier. Look at the body of the lock. You can see the groove for the sidebar there. Here's the front plate, which has got the two little springs in that energise those two little ball bearings. There's the plunger that locates the sidebar and acts as a detent, so centres the lock in the lock position. Let's look at the sidebar. Right, here we are. So here's that sort of rectangular section, sort of hockey stick profile sidebar. And the disc's quite interesting. You've got this front disc with the holes for the bearings, and then disc 4, here's disc 4. So that is one of the driving discs, so only got the true gates. And here is disc 11, not the other driving disc. I think it's identical to disc 4. And then the rest of the discs are this sort of profile. You can see you've got one true gate in each direction, so you've got two true gates, but of course this is bidirectional, so only one in each direction. And then you've got a whole load of false gates. It looks actually like these are different depths. It's hard to tell without measuring it, but that one to me just looks a little bit deeper than that one, for example. And it does take a bit of work to go through and get it all set as you saw. So I'll just bring the slot up. Bring the slot up to the camera. You can see it all together. And there we are. Abloy Disklock door cylinder, picked and gutted.